They told you money is about math, spreadsheets, fundamentals. They were wrong. Every financial decision is a chemical storm in a 3-pound universe. Your worst investment wasn't a bad stock, it was a biochemical addiction. The battle for your portfolio isn't on trading floors, it's in the silence between thoughts. What if I told you hedge funds now hire neuroscientists, not economists? Because your financial brain is still running 50,000-year-old survival software. You attribute wins to skill, losses to bad luck. That's not psychology, that's biology. Your brain filters reality to protect your decisions. You live in a confirmation bubble. We don't invest in companies. We invest in stories that feel like campfire magic. What if the most valuable asset isn't in your portfolio, but in learning the 200,000-year-old code running between your ears? Welcome to Future Vision Talks. If that trailer didn't just capture your attention, but actually made you feel recognized, if somewhere in those visuals you saw a ghost of your own financial decisions, the panic sell, the FOMO buy, the stock you held too long, then understand this: that feeling of being seen isn't coincidence, it's confirmation. What you just witnessed were not metaphors. They are the literal, observable, imageable processes happening inside your skull every time you check your portfolio. We exist in a financial world built on a beautiful lie, the myth of the rational actor, the unflappable investor, the cool calculator of risk and reward. It's a story our brains desperately want to believe because the truth is much more uncomfortable. The truth is that the single greatest factor determining your financial future isn't your broker, your strategy, or even your luck. It's the ancient biochemical operating system sitting behind your eyes, a system optimized for avoiding predators and seeking berries, not for navigating the abstract, high-velocity complexity of digital global markets. Today, we're doing a deep dive that merges two languages that we're never supposed to speak: the cold, precise language of finance and the wet, chaotic, electrochemical language of neuroscience. Consider this a financial fMRI. We're not just going to name your financial biases, we're going to show you where they live in your brain, how they feel in your body, and why they've been programmed into you by millions of years of evolution. Then, most crucially, we'll move from diagnosis to treatment. We'll build not a portfolio of stocks, but a portfolio of mental frameworks, a toolkit to upgrade that ancient software. This isn't about getting rich quick. This is about agency. It's about pulling back the curtain on the subconscious forces that pilot your financial life so you can finally reach for the controls. So if you're ready to understand the deepest why behind every win and loss, to move from being a passenger of your impulses to becoming the architect of your decisions, let's begin. For over a century, finance was built on a fictional character: Homo economicus, economic man, perfectly rational, all-knowing, immune to emotion, a spreadsheet with a pulse. This elegant fiction powered every model, from Wall Street to your retirement plan. There was just one problem: this person has never existed, not in a lab, not in history, and certainly not in the mirror. The cracks appeared with simple questions. Why do we cling to losing stocks but sell winners too fast? Why does a 10% loss feel more than twice as bad as a 10% gain feels good? This wasn't random noise, it was a signal. Pioneers like Kahneman and Tversky began mapping these systematic errors: loss aversion, anchoring, the endowment effect. They proved we're not randomly irrational, we're predictably irrational. But the real revolution came when we stopped just observing behavior and started scanning the brain. Neuroscience answered the why. It revealed there is no special money module. When you make a financial decision, your brain uses the exact same toolkit it uses to avoid a lion, seek a mate, or navigate tribal politics. Your brain sees a crashing portfolio through the same lens as your ancestors saw a shrinking waterhole. The threat is different, the neural alarm is identical. To navigate this, you need to understand your brain's two operating modes, System 1 and System 2. System 1 is your autopilot, fast, emotional, automatic. It runs on pattern recognition and gut feeling. It's what makes you jerk your hand from fire. It's always on, and it gets first look at every financial signal. The color of a ticker, a sensational headline, the shape of a chart. It instantly creates a narrative. Danger, opportunity, join the tribe. System 2 is your pilot. Slow, logical, effortful. It's what you use to do taxes or learn chess. It requires energy and focus. Here's the critical flaw. System 2 is lazy. It prefers to outsource to System 1. And by the time System 2 engages, System 1 has already delivered a powerful emotional verdict. Logic is fighting an uphill battle against a chemical tide. Let's apply this to the king of financial biases, loss aversion. Neuroscience shows losses activate the same brain regions as physical pain, the amygdala and insula. Losing $100 doesn't just feel bad, it hurts. This creates the disposition effect, selling winners too early to feel pleasure, holding losers too long to avoid pain. You're cutting the flowers and watering the weeds. Your System 1 is screaming to stop the bleeding, even when System 2 knows the rational move is to sell. And when loss aversion curdles, it becomes get-even-itis. The loss is realized, large. System 1, desperate to erase the pain, doesn't advocate for caution. It demands a high-risk gamble to win it all back. This is why people who lose in a crash often plunge into speculative bets. They're not seeking profit. They're seeking a neural undo button, a biochemical silencing of the alarm. We are a social species. Ostracism was once a death sentence. This wiring creates herding, the FOMO instinct. When everyone buys, your brain doesn't see an asset, it sees a moving tribe. Mirror neurons fire. Oxytocin, the bonding chemical, releases. Going against the herd triggers anxiety. So we join, often at the peak. Herding is fueled by confirmation bias. Once you buy, your brain becomes a lawyer for your decision. Your reticular activating system, a neural filter, tunes your attention. You see every bullish article, bearish warnings seem to fade away. You're not being dishonest. Your brain is protecting you from cognitive dissonance. This brings us to the narrative fallacy. Our brains crave story over statistics. A company with a compelling story, a visionary, a world-changing mission can defy financial logic. Think Theranos or .com companies with no revenue. The story feels like the future, and in the brain, feeling is more persuasive than fact. Knowing the bugs in your software is power. We don't eliminate System 1, we become better conductors. Here is your neuroscientist's toolkit. Create friction. Impulse's enemy is a speed bump. Implement a 24-hour rule. No executing a non-planned trade the same day you think of it. Write your thesis for the trade first. This forces System 2 to engage. Write your investment constitution. This is a contract with your future, weaker self. Write it now, while calm. Define your goals, your risk tolerance, your buy and sell rules. When the amygdala screams, you don't decide. You execute Article 3, Section B. You follow the plan. Detox your financial environment. Your brain is your environment. Uninstall ticker apps. Check portfolios quarterly, not hourly. Unfollow fear-based media. You're an investor, not a day trader spectator. Practice mental time travel. In a panic, ask, will this decision matter in 10 years? This activates your long-term planning prefrontal cortex and shrinks the amygdala's immediate threat. These are disciplines, not hacks. They are the practice of metacognition, thinking about your thinking. This is what separates the reactive from the strategic investor. So we end where we began, but you're no longer the same viewer. That invisible hand,
It has a name. It has an address in your brain. It's not an invader. It's the ancient, protective, story-loving part of you, doing its best in a world it wasn't built for. The goal isn't to become a perfectly rational robot. It's to become integrated, to honor your intuition's power while building guardrails for its flaws, to use System 1's pattern recognition as a hypothesis generator and System 2's logic as the testing ground. The most important portfolio you will ever manage is the one between your ears.
Now I turn it to you. Here is your one essential question. Look back at your financial life. What is one decision you now see was clearly, almost purely driven by one of these biological biases? Was it holding a loser out of loss aversion? Buying a bubble stock from hurting? Selling in a panic? Go to the comments, name it, name the bias, name the decision. By speaking it, you drag it from the shadows of System 1 into the light of System 2. You help yourself and everyone seeing their story in yours. If this deep dive into your own mind resonated, I need you to do 3 things. First, like this video. That click tells the algorithm that content which challenges and empowers at this level deserves to reach more people. Second, share it. Not just to your feed, but to one specific person who needs to see this. Send it with a note. This reframed how I think about my money decisions. Third, subscribe and hit the bell, because this is just the foundation. Next week, we ask, in the age of AI, can an external intelligence manage these biases better than we can? We explore the AI financial coach. Can a machine know your mind's money traps? The apps and algorithms designed to outsmart your own biology. The future of finance isn't just about new assets, it's about a new understanding of the investor. Be here for it. I'm Jordan. This has been Future Vision Talks. Remember, don't just predict your future, build it with a clear mind and an aware heart. See you next time.